Chosen one. Listen closely. You are not seeing this by accident. The very fact that these words found you means heaven itself pressed pause on everything around you, just so this truth could reach your heart. You have endured much, and you have walked through valleys others would not have survived. Yet here you stand, still breathing, still standing, still chosen. That is the sign. You passed the final test. Every tear that fell in silence was counted. Every night you thought you would break was recorded. You thought no one saw the pain, but heaven's eyes were always upon you. And now, after the battle, the whisper comes. You passed. You did not crumble when the fire was turned up. You did not surrender your light when darkness surrounded you. You did not bow when the enemy demanded you kneel. That was the test, and you overcame. The final test was not about what you could gain, but about what you would endure. Could you still love when hated? Could you still walk in faith when abandoned? Could you still shine when unseen? That was the refining fire. Gold does not prove itself by appearance, but by what remains after the flames. And chosen one, you remained. You are proof that God's fire refines, not destroys. Stop for a moment and consider. You should have been broken. The storm should have taken you. The betrayal should have destroyed your trust. The loneliness should have drowned you. But it didn't. Why? Because you are marked. Because you were chosen. Because you were never meant to blend into the crowd. You carry something inside you that could not die. Even in the darkest season, that light remained. That is why you are here now, standing at the threshold of your destiny. As David wrote in Psalm 23:4, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me, and now the heavens declare over you. You passed. This is why you feel a stirring in your chest as you read these words. This is why your heart beats faster right now. Something inside you knows these words are not ordinary. They are confirmation. God is saying, daughter, son, you survived what others could not. And because of that, I now trust you with more. If this resonates in your spirit, if you feel that stirring I just described, let heaven hear your agreement. Write in the comments 777, not as superstition, but as a sign that your spirit bears witness to what God is speaking. 7 is the number of completion in Scripture, and 777 declares that your test is complete. Your trial is finished, and your blessing is released. Now, chosen one, I need you to understand something. The enemy thought your silence was defeat, but it was preparation. Your hidden season was not wasted. It was training. You were learning endurance, humility, and faith. Those who mocked you, who thought you were forgotten, will soon realize you were simply in the hands of the refiner. You didn't just pass the final test. You graduated into a new authority. What once weighed you down will no longer control you. The lies that once haunted you will no longer have power. The fears that once paralyzed you will now bow beneath your feet. For it was proclaimed in 2 Timothy 1-7, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Do you see it? Power, love, soundness. That is your inheritance. That is your crown. That is the evidence you are not the same as before. I am speaking directly to your soul right now. The test was the doorway, and now you are stepping into the room beyond. The pain was the price, and now you are carrying the treasure. Do not despise the scars. They are proof you survived. Wear them like medals. Each one is a testimony that you could not be broken. And because of this, heaven asks you to do one thing: do not hide anymore. The world needs to see the light that endured the fire. Your voice matters. Your story matters. Your testimony will save others from quitting when they are tested. You passed so you can now pull others through. If you know this is true, if you feel the call to step out of hiding, share this message. Let it reach another warrior who thinks they are alone. Let your obedience in sharing become the bridge someone else crosses to find hope. When you share what God is doing in your life, you become a conduit for His power to reach others. Take this moment and make it holy. Lift your head, chosen one, breathe deeply. This is not the end, it is the beginning. What was locked is about to open. What was denied is about to be granted. What was hidden is about to shine. The battles that shaped you most were not the ones others could see, but the ones fought behind closed doors. The world saw only fragments of your journey. The surface, the part you allowed them to glimpse. They saw your strength in public, but they never witnessed the nights you lay awake, staring into the dark, praying for a reason to keep breathing. They saw your composure, but they did not hear the inner cries you released when no one was around. They saw your ability to move forward, but they did not feel the invisible weight you carried on your shoulders. These hidden struggles became the furnace where your faith was tested and proved. It was there, in the silence, that you were forged into someone stronger than before. Not stronger because life was kind, but stronger because you endured when it would have been easier to collapse. You survived the valley of shadows where others would have turned back. You endured the isolation that tried to convince you that no one cared. And still you rose. Every sleepless night was not wasted. Every tear you cried in solitude was not ignored. You may have felt forgotten by people, but you were never forgotten by heaven. Every sigh, every whispered "help me," every trembling moment you thought went unheard was recorded. Nothing you endured slipped beyond the attention of God. David reminds us in Psalm 56:8, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." Let that truth sink into your spirit. Every moment of anguish was not only seen, it was remembered. Every tear became a testimony written in eternity's record. What you thought was emptiness was actually investment. Heaven values what you endured in silence because it became the evidence of your faith. The silent battles were never about punishment. They were about preparation. You weren't being abandoned. You were being refined. Fire does not destroy gold. It reveals its purity. In the same way, your secret struggles revealed the unshakable core of who you are. The loneliness you felt was not a sign of rejection, but a call into deeper intimacy with God. The betrayals you suffered did not reduce your worth. They elevated your discernment. The storms you faced in silence stripped away the illusion that strength comes from applause, teaching you instead that strength comes from within, sustained by grace. It was in those hidden moments you discovered a power that could not be explained. There were times you thought you were finished, yet somehow new strength arose in you. That strength did not come from the world. It came from the one who carried you through. When you felt empty, grace filled you. When you felt blind, faith guided you. When you felt voiceless, heaven interceded for you. Do you see now why you could not give up? You were being prepared for this very moment. the tears, the pain, the silence. They all became the soil where endurance was planted. And from that soil, resilience grew. You did not just survive, you transformed. You became someone darkness fears because you no longer bend easily. You became someone light trusts because you know the cost of carrying it. Your scars are not signs of failure, they are signs of survival. Each mark tells a story that you made it through something meant to break you. And, though others may never understand, heaven celebrates every step you took when it felt impossible to move forward. If you have felt unseen in your struggles, if you have fought battles no one knew about, write, "I survived" in the comments. Let your declaration become strength for someone else walking through their own hidden valley. Sometimes the most powerful testimony is simply, "I made it through." The most powerful victories are often the ones no one else sees. You may never receive recognition for the tears shed in secret, but those tears hold more weight than applause ever could. They are evidence of faith that did not quit. They are the currency of endurance that bought your breakthrough. The silence trained you to hear the whispers of God more clearly. The pain taught you to lean into His presence more deeply. The loneliness reminded you that you are never truly alone. What you endured in private is about to become the foundation of strength you will carry in public. So do not despise those hidden seasons. They were not wasted. They were sacred. They were the final test that revealed your identity. And now, because you endured what few could survive, you carry an authority that cannot be faked. You passed through the silent battles, and in doing so, you proved that your faith is not fragile. You showed that even when no one was watching, your heart remained steadfast. That is why heaven can now trust you with more. That is why you are standing in this moment, marked as chosen, refined by the unseen fire. Do you understand why darkness fought you so hard? It was not random. It was not just because of your circumstances. The truth is, your very presence carries light, and that light unsettles the shadows. Wherever you go, atmospheres shift. Whenever you walk into a room, even in silence, you carry something that cannot be ignored. That is why the opposition has been so relentless. The enemy was terrified that you would discover just how powerful you are when you stand in your true identity. The battles you faced were not only about survival, they were about revelation. The enemy wanted to keep you distracted with pain so you would never notice the fire burning inside of you. He wanted you to drown in rejection so you would never realize you were handpicked by heaven. He wanted you to remain silenced by fear so you would never step into the authority of your voice. But despite everything, you discovered the truth. Your light cannot be extinguished. As Jesus declared in Matthew 5:14, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden." That is who you are. A city on a hill, a beacon in the darkness, a light that no veil of shadow can smother. When you finally began to understand this, you became dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Because when someone knows who they are, no lie can control them anymore. Think back to the times when people misunderstood you, when they turned away, when they mocked you, when they whispered against you. It hurt, yes, but that rejection was proof that they could sense something different about you. People don't resist what feels ordinary. They resist what feels divine. They did not reject you because you were unworthy. They rejected you because your very existence confronted what was broken inside of them. You must see it now. Your light was never for yourself alone. It was given to you as a weapon. Light breaks confusion. Light exposes lies. light guides the lost. This is why you could never blend into the background. This is why, no matter how hard you tried to be normal, something about you always stood out. Heaven never called you to fit in, it called you to stand out. But with this light comes a cost. Carrying light means walking through seasons where you are misunderstood. It means enduring warfare that others may never face. It means carrying responsibility to live with integrity, even when no one is watching. The enemy attacked you not because of where you were, but because of where you are going. He saw the potential in you before you did. His only hope was to extinguish your flame before it grew too bright. And yet here you are. The attacks did not succeed. The lies did not silence you. The fear did not paralyze you. The rejection did not define you. Instead, each wound became a window where your light shines even brighter. Every scar became proof that you are unstoppable. Every moment you survived added to the glow you now carry. You are walking evidence that light is stronger than darkness. You do not realize how many people have already been touched by your resilience. Even without you speaking, your endurance preached. Your faith has been a silent sermon to those watching you from afar. Some who doubted you are secretly inspired by you. Others who dismissed you are unknowingly learning from you. That is the nature of light. It does not need permission to shine. It simply shines. If you recognize yourself in these words, if you know that you carry this light, let others know. Share this message and comment. I carry light, not in pride, but in acknowledgement of what God has placed within you. When you declare this truth, you reject every lie that tried to convince you that you were insignificant. You are not fragile. You are not powerless. You are radiant with the glory that heaven placed within you. Though the enemy tried to snuff it out, he only proved how bright it is. You are a living example that the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. So rise, stand tall. Let your light burn unapologetically. The world is waiting for what you carry, what others fail to see about you. Heaven has always recognized. There were moments when you felt invisible, when your sacrifices seemed to vanish into thin air, when your kindness was repaid with indifference, and when your labor produced no applause. You wondered if any of it mattered, if perhaps your journey was unnoticed, if perhaps your prayers echoed into emptiness. But the truth is this: God saw every detail. Nothing was missed, nothing ignored, nothing wasted. Recognition from people is fleeting. One day they cheer, and the next day they forget. But recognition from heaven is eternal. When no one applauded your quiet obedience, the angels took note. When no one acknowledged your secret acts of kindness, the Father smiled. When no one thanked you for carrying a burden with patience, your name was written in heaven's record as faithful. Do you realize the power of that truth? The world might never give you a crown, but heaven has already placed one upon your head. People might never acknowledge the weight you carried, but heaven already calls you victorious. While others measured your worth by appearance, heaven measured your worth by endurance. And endurance is something you proved beyond question. There is a reason you could not blend into the masses. You were never designed to walk in anonymity forever. Your distinction has always been your calling card. Even when you tried to live like everyone else, something within you resisted conformity. That resistance was not stubbornness. It was identity. You are not ordinary. You are a marked vessel, chosen for a task others could not carry. The lack of recognition from people was a test, but it was also protection. If the wrong voices celebrated you too early, you might have settled for their shallow approval instead of pressing toward heaven's reward. If the wrong hands placed crowns upon your head, you might have worn them proudly while missing the greater crown prepared for you. By withholding recognition, God was shaping your heart so that when honor finally comes, it will not control you. Do not despise the days when you felt invisible. Those were the days you were being trained in authenticity. You were learning how to move without applause, how to give without being noticed, how to love without receiving anything back. These lessons formed in you a strength that cannot be corrupted by human praise. When recognition comes, and it will, you will wear it with humility, not pride. Hebrews 6:10 still echoes today. God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown him as you have helped his people and continue to help them. Heaven recognizes what men ignore, and when heaven recognizes you, no earthly rejection can define you. Your value is not measured by the number of people who see you, but by the God who calls you his own. The world may overlook the faithful servant, but God raises the faithful into positions of influence at the appointed time. This is why you endured. This is why you passed the test. You were not fighting for attention. You were fighting for destiny. You were not chasing validation. You were chasing obedience. And now, because you remain steadfast, God himself marks you with honor. The recognition of heaven is not loud, but it is unshakable. It will open doors no man can close. It will elevate you without striving. It will silence the mouths of doubters without you needing to defend yourself. It will position you in places you never expected, simply because heaven's hand is upon you. If you have walked through seasons of feeling unseen, if you have served faithfully without recognition, let heaven hear your heart. Comment heaven sees me as your declaration that God's recognition is enough. Sometimes we need to remind our souls who really matters. Imagine the Father whispering even now, "Well done. I saw every step. I recorded every tear. I honored every sacrifice." Let those words sink into you. They are not the approval of men that fades. They are eternal recognition from the one whose opinion defines reality itself. Your story is not over. The recognition that seemed delayed is not denied. At the right time, what was hidden will be revealed. The faithful will be lifted. The unseen will be acknowledged. The overlooked will be crowned. And you, chosen one, are among them. So walk with your head lifted high, not in pride, but in certainty. Not because you demand recognition, but because you already have it. Not because you need to prove yourself, but because heaven has already proven you. You are recognized, you are seen, you are chosen. And nothing, no silence, no rejection, no delay, can erase that truth. One of the clearest signs that you are set apart is that you could never blend into the crowd. Even when you tried to walk like everyone else, talk like everyone else, or think like everyone else, something inside you resisted. That resistance was not rebellion. It was divine distinction. You were never called to be ordinary. You were called to stand out as a living reminder that God places crowns upon the unlikely. You may have asked, why cannot I just be like them? Why do I always feel different? The answer is simple. You are different. You were not designed to follow the patterns of this world because heaven carved a unique path for your steps. When others were satisfied with shallow waters, you were called to dive deeper. When others lived for applause, you were called to live for purpose. When others chased comfort, you were chosen to carry a cross that leads to glory. Do not mistake your isolation for rejection. It was separation. Separation for preparation. While others were indulging, you were being trained. While others compromised, you were being refined. While others mocked what they did not understand, you were quietly receiving assignments from heaven. The loneliness you felt was evidence that you were being called higher. Romans 12:2 reminds us, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." Do you hear that? Transformation requires separation. You cannot renew your mind if you are still bound by the voices of the crowd. You cannot discern God's will if you are still entangled in the opinions of people. Your difference is not a curse. It is your crown. Your uniqueness is not weakness. It is the very evidence that you are marked. Think about it. The ones who made history were never the ones who blended in prophets, apostles, reformers, and dreamers. They were all misfits in their generation. They were misunderstood, rejected, and even despised. Yet they carried messages that shifted nations. You too walk in that lineage. That is why you cannot fit into systems built for conformity. That is why you carry a weight others cannot comprehend. You are not common, you are chosen. And because of this, you must guard your distinction. Do not sell your identity for the comfort of belonging. Do not compromise your calling for the temporary acceptance of those who will never understand your journey. The crowd will always be large, but the crown is only given to those who walk faithfully on the narrow path. If this word has awakened something in you, if you recognize that you were never meant to fit in, share this message with someone else who needs to hear it. Let your difference become their permission to be different too. And comment, "I am set apart," not as boasting, but as acceptance of what God has made you. Let me tell you something powerful. The very places you were rejected will one day call for you. The very people who dismissed you will one day recognize you. The very doors that shut in your face will one day open. Not because you forced them, but because heaven commanded it. Your distinction is what qualifies you for that day. And right now, while you read these words, you know deep inside that this is confirmation. Something in you has always whispered, "I am not like the rest. I am called for more." That whisper was the voice of the Spirit, reminding you who you are. You are not waiting anymore. You are walking. And when God says move, the only thing left to do is obey. Heaven is clearing the runway. The time is right. The air is shifting, and your feet are being anointed for forward movement. Do not underestimate your role in this. You are not just a receiver of light, you are also a carrier of it. When you share this word, when you agree with what God is speaking, you become part of the chain reaction that ignites others. What you make happen for others, heaven makes happen for you. You were not separated for nothing. You were handpicked to carry a crown that cannot be bought or stolen. And though the journey has been lonely, it is about to be glorious. So lift your head high, walk boldly. Carry your difference with pride, not pride in yourself, but pride in the one who chose you. For every moment you felt out of place, remember you were not misplaced. You were divinely placed. You are chosen. You are crowned. And your distinction is your destiny. There are signs heaven leaves for those who are awake enough to notice them. These signs are not coincidences. They are confirmations, numbers, patterns, and divine alignments. Each one whispers that your steps are ordered. Your path is guided, and your destiny is sealed. The world calls them chance, but you know better. For the chosen, nothing is accidental. You have seen it before. Numbers that repeat in strange ways. Moments when time itself seems to echo. Situations where the same figure, the same pattern, the same confirmation appears again and again, until you cannot ignore it. This is heaven's way of pulling back the veil and saying, you are exactly where you need to be. Do not dismiss these numbers as random. They are prophetic codes. They are reminders that God is not silent, that the heavens still speak to you in ways tailored to your journey. And right now, as you read this, you are being reminded that your victory has already been marked in eternity. Habakkuk 2-3 declares, "For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it, it will certainly come and will not delay." Do you see it? Even time itself obeys the voice of heaven. The appointed moment is written, the alignment is fixed, and the sign is already waiting for you. What you thought was delay was simply preparation for the right alignment. And when the numbers appear, they are heaven's subtle declaration. It is near. This is why you must stop despising the wait. Every moment you thought was wasted was actually weaving together the tapestry of destiny. Heaven was orchestrating people, places, and opportunities in perfect timing. If the promise had come sooner, you would not have been ready to carry it. If it came later, it would have missed its impact. But right now, every thread of your story is interlocking with divine purpose. And the signs are heaven's confirmation that breakthrough is already unfolding. Think of the times you prayed for a sign. How many times did you feel like the answer was silent? Yet when you least expected it, confirmation appeared. Sometimes in a scripture, sometimes in a conversation, sometimes in numbers you could not ignore. That was heaven's way of saying, I heard you, I have not forgotten you. Stay the course. There are people who mock such signs. They call them superstition, coincidence, imagination. But they do not carry what you carry. They cannot understand the way heaven communicates with those who are marked. The Spirit has always spoken in mysteries, in symbols, in visions, and to those who are chosen, even the smallest detail becomes a sermon. I tell you now, your alignment is being confirmed again. The numbers you are seeing, the patterns that are reappearing, they are not random. They are heaven's signature, stamped upon your journey. They are proof that your obedience has positioned you correctly. Pause and consider this. Heaven has been guiding you even when you doubted. Every detail of your life, even the painful ones, is part of a larger pattern. You are walking on a path where nothing is wasted. Even the detours were designed to bring you back to center. Even the delays were crafted to prepare you for more. When fear whispers that you are lost, the sign whispers back, you are guided. When doubt says you are behind, the sign replies, you are on time. When the enemy says you are forgotten, the sign thunders, you are remembered. The code of heaven is written into your journey. Do not ignore the whispers, do not dismiss the confirmations. They are not meant to confuse you. They are meant to reassure you. You are moving forward exactly as you should. Let this settle deep within you. You are not stumbling aimlessly. You are walking in ordered steps. Every time the numbers appear, smile. They are love letters from heaven, subtle reminders that God is nearer than your breath. If this resonates with you, if you have been seeing signs and confirmations, share your experience in the comments. Sometimes when we share what God is showing us, it becomes faith for someone else who needs to see that heaven is still speaking. And when you subscribe to stay connected, you are saying to heaven, I want to keep hearing what you are saying. So carry this with you. The signs are not for everyone, but they are for you. You see them because you are chosen. You feel them because you are sensitive to the Spirit. You recognize them because your eyes have been opened. And now, if this word resonates with the fire in your spirit, let your agreement be known. The signs confirm that your steps are ordered, your foundation is secure, and your destiny is unfolding right on time. There are chains that have wrapped around families for generations, cycles that repeat, patterns that seem unbreakable, shadows that pass from parent to child, from bloodline to bloodline. Perhaps you have felt it, those unseen weights pressing on your shoulders, burdens that were not even yours, but somehow ended up in your hands. Poverty that seems to revisit every generation, fear that passes like inheritance, brokenness that shows up again and again, wearing different faces, but carrying the same spirit. You have wondered, why me? Why does it feel like I am fighting battles older than my own life? The answer is because you were chosen to be the one who ends them. What others accepted, you resist. What others excused, you confront. What others bowed to, you rise against. This is not coincidence. This is calling. Chains are never broken without confrontation. And you, chosen one, have been placed in this lineage, not to suffer under the weight of these chains, but to destroy them. The silent battles you have endured were not only about you, they were about every soul connected to your name. Heaven entrusted you with this fight because it knew you would not bend. The chains that terrified generations before you are trembling now because they see the fire in your spirit. Exodus 20:6 thunders, but showing love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. That promise is yours. The blessing you carry will not end with you. It will overflow into the generations that follow. You are the link where curses end and blessings begin. Think of the weight of this moment. Your prayers are not only shaping your life, they are rewriting the story of your family line. Your faith is not just about your survival. It is opening a path of freedom for those who come after you. Every time you resist temptation, you weaken a chain. Every time you choose forgiveness, you break a link. Every time you stand in obedience, you shatter a curse. The battles you face are ancient, but the power within you is eternal. The enemy assumed you would fold under the same pressure that crushed those before you. But heaven has marked you differently. The blood of Christ runs through your story, and it carries authority greater than any generational shadow. You are not bound to repeat what you have seen. You are not destined to suffer the same cycles. You are chosen to break them. Imagine the shift. Where there was once scarcity, abundance will flow. Where there was once fear, boldness will rise. Where there was once addiction, freedom will reign. Where there was once brokenness, healing will flow like a river, and it begins with you. This is why the attacks have been so intense. The chains you are breaking are not small, they are ancient. The enemy knows that if you succeed, not only will you walk free, but generations tied to your name will never know the weight of bondage again. That is why your fight feels heavier than most. That is why your journey has been filled with resistance. But remember this, heavy chains require strong warriors, and heaven chose you because you have the strength to endure. Your prayers are not hitting the ceiling. They are striking the foundations of these chains. Every word you speak in faith shakes the structures of darkness. Every cry you release in surrender weakens the grip of the enemy. You are not fighting alone. The hosts of heaven fight with you. Do not despise the weariness you sometimes feel. It is a sign of the battle's intensity, but it is also proof of your endurance. Even in weakness, you have not bowed. Even in exhaustion, you have not surrendered. That persistence is breaking what once seemed unbreakable. There will come a day when you look back and realize that the very battles which nearly destroyed you were the ones that freed your family line. You will see sons and daughters, nieces and nephews, children not yet born, walking in freedom you fought for. They will not carry the chains you carried because you shattered them. They will not suffer the same curses because you ended them. The legacy of bondage ends with you. The legacy of blessing begins with you. And heaven will honor your obedience by multiplying its fruit across generations. If you sense this weight on your life, if you know you are called to be a generational chain breaker, let heaven hear your commitment. Comment "The chains end with me" as your declaration that you will not pass on what was passed to you. Do not underestimate the significance of your endurance. You may feel small in the fight, but the ripple of your victory is immeasurable. 1,000 generations will feel the freedom you secured, and one day, heaven itself will declare over you, "This one was faithful. This one broke the chains. This one shifted the story. You are the breaker. You are the chosen one. And the chains are falling because you refuse to be bound." Survival was never the end goal. Heaven did not preserve you merely to exist, but to rise into a new realm of authority. You are crossing a threshold. The same strength that allowed you to endure the fire is now becoming the authority that equips you to command it. You are no longer a wanderer trying to find your place. You are a carrier of divine power, entrusted with influence that shifts the very ground you walk upon. Authority is different from survival. Survival is about holding on. Authority is about taking ground. Survival whispers, "I made it through." Authority declares, "I am here to reign." You are entering the season where you will no longer merely react to battles. You will set the atmosphere before they even begin. Luke 10:19 proclaims, "I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you." This is not symbolic. It is real. You are walking in authority that breaks the influence of fear, silences the whispers of doubt, and dismantles the traps of the enemy. You will not just survive attacks, you will carry the power to dissolve them. This authority does not come from titles, positions, or outward recognition. It comes from the scars you carry, the battles you fought, and the obedience you chose when no one was watching. Authority is birthed in private pain but manifested in public power. Your hidden tears became oil for your anointing. Your secret prayers became the foundation of your voice. The moments you thought were wasted were actually heaven's training ground, shaping you into someone who does not simply carry faith but walks in dominion. You will notice this shift in subtle ways. Where once you were easily shaken, now you will remain steady. Where once fear silenced you, now your words will pierce like a sword. Where once you begged for breakthrough, now you will release breakthrough over others. This is the evidence of authority. It does not only preserve you, it transforms the environment around you. Have you noticed how people feel different around you? Some feel peace, others feel convicted. Still, others resist you without reason. That is the weight of authority. The presence you carry disrupts atmospheres. It brings comfort to the hungry and disturbance to the resistant. Do not shrink back when you feel misunderstood. It is confirmation that your spirit carries weight beyond human explanation. This authority is not arrogance. It is not domination. It is stewardship. You are entrusted with a mantle that requires humility. Authority without humility becomes abuse. But authority grounded in obedience becomes liberation. And because you endured the breaking, heaven knows it can trust you not to misuse what has been placed in your hands. Think of how the storm once frightened you. Waves seemed too high, winds too strong, darkness too thick. Yet you walked through it. And now, because you endured, you can stand in storms and speak peace over others who are drowning. That is authority, not the absence of storms, but the power to silence them. You will walk into spaces where confusion reigns, and clarity will flow through you. You will enter households bound by fear, and peace will rest upon them. You will encounter hearts trapped in despair, and your presence will ignite hope, not because of who you are alone, but because of what you carry. You are stepping into this season with a new mantle. Do not think small of yourself. Do not assume you are merely a survivor. You are a vessel of dominion. Your scars are your credentials. Your faith is your signature. And heaven has stamped you with authority that cannot be revoked. From this moment on, walk differently, pray with boldness, speak with conviction, move with confidence. You are not asking for permission anymore. You are carrying authorization from heaven itself. Where you go, light goes. Where you stand, ground shifts. Where you speak, chains loosen. The world will not always understand it. Some will resist, others will doubt. But none will be able to deny the authority you carry. Because authority is not proven in arguments, it is revealed in results. If you feel this mantle settling on your life, if you sense this shift from survival to authority, let heaven hear your acceptance. Share this word with someone who needs to see what authority looks like. And comment, I receive my authority as your declaration that you will no longer live beneath what God has placed within you. Step into it fully. Authority is your inheritance. Dominion is your calling. And the season of merely surviving has ended. You are walking as one entrusted with the keys of the kingdom, and nothing, no scheme, no shadow, no storm, will prevail against you. Your calling is not optional, it is sealed. You carry something the world cannot ignore, and heaven has written an assignment over your life that cannot be erased. This is why you feel a pull that others do not understand. You were not made to drift without purpose. You were designed to walk as one crowned with a divine mandate. Your life is not random. Your destiny is not negotiable. You are sent and you are chosen. The crown placed upon you is not made of earthly jewels. It is forged in obedience, humility, and fire. Every battle you endured was shaping the weight of this assignment. Every silent tear was watering the soil of your future. Every act of faith was building a throne of authority that you now carry. You are not just living day by day. You are carrying a decree from heaven itself. 2 Timothy 4-7 declares, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. These words are not merely about the end of life. They are about living with intention, knowing that every step is part of the race you were chosen to run. And just as Paul wrote those words with certainty, you too must walk with the conviction that your crown is waiting. Your assignment is real, and your fight is worth every sacrifice. There will always be voices trying to distract you from this path. Some will mock your faith, others will tempt you to compromise. Many will say, take the easy road. Why carry such weight? But you cannot afford to listen. The easy road leads to emptiness. The narrow road leads to glory. You did not survive this long to surrender to convenience. You endured to fulfill a calling that is higher than your own comfort. You may feel the weight of responsibility pressing heavily upon your shoulders. At times, it may even feel overwhelming. But remember this: heaven does not assign crowns to the unprepared. The very fact that you are reading these words is proof that you are ready. You passed the tests, others failed. You endured what others abandoned. You remained when others fled. And because of that, you now carry authority to move forward with unshakable purpose. The crown does not only rest upon your head, it also marks your steps. Everywhere you go, the authority of your calling follows. You may not even realize how deeply others are affected by your presence. Strangers feel peace when you enter a room. The weary feel strength when you speak. The broken feel hope when you simply stand beside them. This is the weight of your crown. It is not for decoration. It is for transformation. Your assignment is not optional. It is not something you can cast aside when life gets inconvenient. It is a holy decree written before you were born. Heaven invested too much in you for you to give up now. And deep inside, you already know this. That is why you cannot rest in mediocrity. That is why compromise never satisfies you. That is why you always feel a holy tension pulling you higher. Take this moment to anchor your heart. Declare to yourself that you are not a wanderer. You are a warrior. You are not lost. You are commissioned. You are not random. You are crowned. And the world will see the evidence of your assignment through the fruit of your endurance. If this message resonates in your spirit, if you feel the weight of this calling, let your agreement be known. Share this word with someone who needs to remember their purpose. And comment, I choose purpose, as your declaration to heaven and to yourself that you accept your crown, you embrace your calling, and you will walk in purpose. Do not underestimate the power of this declaration. Your agreement with heaven unlocks doors in the spirit. The moment you choose purpose, distractions lose their grip. Fear loses its voice, and destiny becomes clearer than ever before. You are crowned not for comfort, but for conquest. You are marked not to hide, but to shine. You are chosen not to blend, but to build. The assignment on your life is real, and it is waiting for your full surrender. So rise with certainty, walk with conviction, live with intention, and let the world see through your life that heaven does not choose lightly. You are proof that the crown is real. The calling is sure, and the assignment cannot be stopped. There is a divine shift happening even now, the end of delays. What once felt like endless waiting is giving way to sudden movement. The prayers you thought were unanswered are rising like incense before the throne. And heaven is responding with release. For years it seemed as though doors were locked, opportunities were withheld, and breakthroughs were just out of reach. But now the appointed time has come. The waiting season is closing, and the season of fulfillment is opening before your very eyes. Delays were never denial, they were preparation. You were not forgotten, you were being refined. Had the answer come too soon? you would not have been ready to carry it. Had the door opened prematurely, it would have crushed you instead of blessing you. Heaven withheld, not out of cruelty, but out of protection. And now that you are proven faithful, nothing can hold back what belongs to you. Think of it like a seed buried in the soil. For a long time, there is no sign of life above the surface. To the natural eye, it looks as though nothing is happening, but underground, roots are forming, strength is developing, and the foundation is being secured. That was your season of waiting. It wasn't emptiness, it was establishment. And now, because you endured the unseen process, the time of visible fruit has come, and nothing can prevent its growth. Isaiah 60:22 declares, "When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen." That verse is echoing through your spirit right now. It is not just about the distant future, it is about this very moment. The right time has arrived, and what was once slow is about to accelerate beyond your imagination. Do you feel the shift? The heaviness you carried is lifting. The silence that once pressed in on you is breaking into songs of confirmation. What you planted in tears is about to bloom in joy. The delay has ended, and the release has begun. Reflect on the waiting. Every unanswered prayer taught you perseverance. Every closed door built your discernment. Every delay strengthened your character. Though it felt painful at the time, you are now standing with the strength and wisdom to carry the blessing without being destroyed by it. The very season you resented has become the foundation that will keep you steady in the overflow that is coming. And hear this clearly: when God releases, He releases in abundance. He does not open one door, He opens many. He does not answer one prayer, He multiplies the fulfillment. This is why you must be prepared to walk boldly. No hesitation, no second guessing. When the opportunity comes, step into it with confidence, knowing you were prepared for such a time as this. If this word stirs something within you, if you sense the end of your waiting season, do not keep it to yourself. Share this message so that others who are weary in their waiting will find the strength to hold on a little longer. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because the journey ahead is unfolding quickly, and you do not want to miss the confirmations heaven will continue to release in this season of acceleration. The delay is broken. What belongs to you will no longer be withheld. Imagine it. Promises fulfilled, doors opening, blessings flowing like rivers. You are stepping into the season of answered prayers, not because of luck, but because heaven has appointed this very hour. So walk boldly into it, lift your head high, receive the release with gratitude and courage, and remember, this is only the beginning of a greater unfolding. For every delay you endured, heaven is now releasing double honor, double blessing, double increase. If you feel this shift, if you sense the end of delays in your life, let your faith be known. Comment the delay is broken as your agreement with what God is releasing, and watch what happens in the coming days. The time of waiting is over. The season of fulfillment has begun. Step into it with faith, for the Lord Himself has declared. Now, one of the most powerful testimonies of your journey is not just that you survived, but that you survived in the face of those who were waiting for you to fail. There were eyes on you, watching, doubting, whispering, even celebrating your struggles. Some wanted to see you stumble because your resilience confronted their complacency. Others questioned whether you truly carried the mark of heaven. They mistook your trials as proof of weakness, not realizing they were the very fire forging your strength. This has always been the pattern for the chosen. Those who walk under a divine mandate rarely receive immediate recognition from people. Instead, they endure seasons where others misinterpret their silence, their struggles, or their waiting. But what man misunderstands, heaven makes undeniable. The time is coming, and indeed has already begun, when the very people who doubted you will see evidence of God's hand so clear they cannot deny it. Psalm 23:5 declares, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows." Do you see it? The table is not prepared in private. It is spread in the presence of those who once mocked, doubted, or dismissed you. This is not about vengeance. It is about testimony. Your life itself becomes a sermon declaring that God raises the lowly, crowns the faithful, and honors those who endure. Think of Joseph, sold by his own brothers, imprisoned unjustly, forgotten by men, but never forgotten by God. When the time was right, the very ones who betrayed him bowed before him, not because he demanded it, but because God's favor made it inevitable. In the same way, those who dismissed you will witness your elevation, not for your glory, but for heaven's. Do not carry bitterness toward them. Do not waste energy trying to prove them wrong. Your assignment is not to convince, it is to continue. The proof will not come from your arguments, but from the fruit your life begins to bear. While they mocked, you prayed. While they doubted, you endured. While they overlooked, you were being refined. And now the evidence is emerging. There is a certain silence in victory that speaks louder than words. When you walk through new doors, when you carry fresh authority, when peace radiates from you despite every attack, the silence itself will testify. This one is chosen. The mouths that once spoke against you will grow quiet. Not because you silenced them, but because your life silenced doubt. Understand this, their doubt was part of your preparation. It stripped away your dependence on human validation. It taught you to root your confidence in God alone. It purified your motives, ensuring that when recognition comes, you will not idolize the applause of people. Instead, you will keep your eyes fixed on the one who called you from the beginning. Your enemies were never the true obstacle. Their resistance only revealed the depth of your calling. Their disbelief only magnified the necessity of your testimony. Their rejection pushed you closer to the arms of God, who never once turned away. And now the very opposition that tried to bury you becomes the stage on which your victory shines brightest. Do not despise their presence in your story. Without Pharaoh, Joseph would have had no throne. Without Goliath, David would have had no crown. Without the doubters, you would not have the weight of testimony you carry now. Heaven wastes nothing, not even the words of your enemies. Let your heart rest in this assurance. God Himself will vindicate you. You need not defend yourself, nor retaliate, nor strive for recognition. The oil upon your head, the crown upon your spirit, the fire within your bones, these are the undeniable marks of heaven's approval. And approval from God outweighs the opinions of men 1,000-fold. The season is shifting. Evidence is emerging. Those who once whispered, "Where is their God?" will soon say, "Surely the hand of the Lord is upon them." You will not need to explain. The fruit will speak. The overflow will testify. The peace you carry will silence every doubt. So walk forward without bitterness. Do not even look back with resentment. Keep your eyes fixed on the table being prepared before you. Feast in peace, knowing that heaven has crowned you, anointed you, and placed you where no voice of doubt can remove you. And when they see it, when the undeniable favor of God shines from your life, do not gloat, do not boast. Simply remember, this was always God's plan, not to humiliate others, but to glorify His name through you. If you have endured seasons of doubt and opposition, if you have been misunderstood while walking in faith, let heaven hear your trust. Share this message with someone who needs to know that God vindicates His own. And comment, "God will vindicate me," as your declaration that His approval is enough. The proof is coming. The evidence is rising. The silence of heaven has ended, and your life itself will be the answer. There comes a point when the preparation, the battles, the unveiling, and the activation converge into one reality. You are no longer the same person who began the journey. The shift is not only internal but unmistakably visible to those around you. They may not know the full story, but they will recognize that something has settled over you that cannot be explained by mere circumstance. Sunday will not simply be the climax of these recent days. It will be the opening of a chapter you were born to live. The difference now is that you will step into it fully aware of the cost and the calling. You have seen enough to know that being chosen does not shield you from challenge. It equips you to endure it without losing your joy or your focus. You are not empty-handed. You carry anointing. You are not wandering. You carry assignment. You are not waiting for favor. You carry identity, and the enemy knows it. That is why the pressure increased when you got closer. That is why you felt heavier in the final stretch. Because hell always fights the hardest when heaven is about to reveal something the earth has never seen. And you are the reveal. You are the answered prayer of generations. You are the breakthrough someone else is waiting for. You are the fire carrier who turns dry ground into holy ground. That is why the rejection didn't kill you. That is why the betrayal didn't break you. That is why the delay didn't erase you. Because heaven had already stamped you as undeniable. And now that the moment has come, you don't have to convince anyone of anything. You just have to show up crowned. No more shrinking, no more apologizing for your weight, no more playing small to make others feel comfortable. You were never meant to fit into the mold. You were made to disrupt it. You are heaven's evidence in the earth that obedience still matters, that purity still has power, that the secret place still births real authority. 2 Timothy 4-8 reminds us, "Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day. And though that crown will be fully revealed in eternity, its weight rests on you now. You are marked, you are mantled, you are moving not from ambition but from assignment. The people who once doubted you will wonder what happened. The places that once rejected you will open again, but this time you will enter different, not seeking validation, not seeking permission, but walking in heaven's commission. The glory resting on your life will speak louder than your words. Your presence will carry breakthrough because you carry the presence of the one who sent you. And what is ahead of you is bigger than restoration. It is establishment. This isn't about getting back what was lost. It is about being rooted so deeply in your identity that nothing can shake it again. So walk like the crowned one you are. Not with pride, but with power. Not with fear, but with fire. Not with uncertainty, but with an unshakable knowing that says, I was made for this. You are not stepping into a promise. You are the promise. A living, breathing testimony that God finishes what He starts. And He is not just finishing you, He is launching you, so go forth. Crowned one, marked, sent, empowered, because you are walking in the miraculous now. If this message has stirred something deep in your spirit, if these words felt like they were written just for you, it is because they were. This wasn't just content. It was confirmation. You didn't just listen. You encountered something. Heaven spoke, and your spirit recognized it. So don't let this moment pass without responding. If something inside you is different now, if you feel lighter, clearer, stronger, say so. Comment below what God is stirring in your heart. Speak life into the atmosphere. Seal the word by declaring, I receive it fully. Your agreement is not just engagement, it is activation. And if you know someone else who needs this word, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with them. Let it reach the one who is on the edge. Let it speak to the one who is about to give up. Your share might be the reason someone else doesn't quit, like this message. If it confirms something for you, push it out into the feed, so others can be caught in the same divine moment you just experienced. And if you haven't already, subscribe to stay connected to the flow of prophetic release. These words don't come from algorithms, they come from the throne room. And when God is speaking, you don't want to miss it. This isn't entertainment. This is alignment. You are part of a rising remnant, a generation of the marked, the sent, the unshakable. And this space is where you will be reminded, again and again, who you really are. So stand tall, walk bold, stay tuned. The next word could be the one that changes everything. You are chosen, you are crowned, you are commissioned, and your time is now.